You remember how I had that show called What Went Wrong with insert the name of the movie or TV show in here? I did 3 episodes of those, and although those were a lot of fun to do, I found a major flaw in them. What good is me telling you the problems of said movie when I'm not going to give you the solution to those problems? So, from now on, that show has been retitled, and from now on, I am known as the Movie Doctor. Who, might you ask, is the patient of today? It is, of course, the James Bond franchise, and specifically the film Spectre. So let's sit down and talk about the symptoms of Spectre. The Dark Knight Rises syndrome. As a fan of the Nolan trilogy, I absolutely abhorred The Dark Knight Rises, but I will give props where they're deserved. Spectre has the same problem The Dark Knight Rises had. It's very well made and it's an excellent standalone movie, but as a part of the series, it's quite shoddy. If you watch the scenes of Spectre on their own, they're excellent. That scene when Blofeld lays out his whole plan and forces Madeline to watch her own father's death, it's incredible, just like the scene where Bruce Wayne is being mocked by Bane down in the pit. But as a whole, and as a part of the series, and as a part of the film, it holds less weight than it should. It's just a good scene for that specific movie, not a good scene for the whole series. I can watch scenes of The Dark Knight Rises over and over and over on YouTube, but I cannot sit down and watch The Dark Knight Rises for one viewing. Same problem with Spectre. Who is John Harrison and why don't I care? Yes, was there ever any doubt who Christoph Waltz was playing? I mean, seriously, the more you hide something, the more obvious it becomes as to who a certain actor or actress is playing. Waltz is too big of an actor to play a new villain. The Nehru jacket didn't do any favors to the marketing team as well. They should have kept Christoph Waltz in the shadows for the earlier films and the marketing, because when Blofeld says lines such as this,
"It was me, James. The author of all your pain."
it makes absolutely no sense, because we haven't seen him in earlier films, and there are no hints of a higher power in the earlier films either. This could be because the Bond franchise hasn't been mapped out as well as, let's say, Marvel Studios, so I doubt that Blofeld was even an option in Casino Royale. Look at how well Marvel have done things with just their post-credit scenes. They set up the Avengers and their villain throughout it. None of that was prevalent in the previous James Bond movies, and throwing a villain such as Blofeld, who's a big thing in the Bond universe, out of nowhere seemingly, is kinda annoying. The Bond girls. There have been, 25 Bond films, right? I only remember one girl having an actual character and motive. Eva Green as Vesper Lynd. The rest? Well, gather them all up and you have the female Expendables. And no, I don't mean that they're the coolest action heroines put in one film. I mean that they're expendable. Spectre presented such a brilliant opportunity to grow the Bond character as a father figure with Madeline, and Madeline is written pretty strongly for the first third of her arc. She clearly tells Bond to not get too arrogant and comfortable around her, like the Bond girl in Quantum of Solace. But unlike that film, Spectre turns on its character. She happens to spontaneously fall in love with Bond and sleep with him. Her whole arc had me thinking that the writers are laughing at me to think that a Bond girl could have character. Absolutely pathetic. Overcomplicate the action, not the plot. Why is Skyfall so memorable? It has some amazing action. It's one of the best action films I've ever seen, as a matter of fact. It has a fight scene on a moving train that develops from a motorcycle chase. It has a fight scene underwater, another fight scene with 2 Komodo dragons surrounding the combatants, a couple of great kabooms and kablams, and my favorite, the silhouetted fight scene. All of this action is peppered along a fairly simple plot. The antagonist, Raul Silva, is an excommunicated MI6 agent who wants to kill M. Bond has to stop him. Simple. See? Now let's compare that to Spectre. Bond is told by M in a video dossier to kill some guy wearing the Spectre ring. He then comes across Blofeld, who wants to take over all the world's communications, and also wants to kill Bond. Why? Because they used to live together as kids, and his dad liked Bond over him. Yeah. What the hell? Why is this so overcomplicated? Just be simple. I think it was Spielberg who said, if you can't explain your film to me in less than 20 words, you need to do some work. Now, I don't agree with that logic completely, but it's hard to fault those words here. And finally, I think this was the biggest problem with Spectre. They gave the fans what they want. When Casino Royale came out, fans had voiced their opinions and wanting for a connected James Bond universe, and we got that, as Quantum of Solace was the very first direct sequel to a Bond film. But then after Skyfall, fans had seemingly had enough of a connected universe and wanted a return to the Roger Moore era of cartoony action and dated humor. You can only do one of those things for a successful James Bond film, or for any film. Imagine if Nolan's Batman trilogy was a mix of realism and Schumacher. It just wouldn't work. Sometimes listening to the audience isn't the best thing. Have confidence in yourself to tell the audience what they should want. Those are the 5 reasons I think Spectre wasn't as beloved as Skyfall or Casino Royale. It has great scenes when watched separately. However, as a complete film and a part of a series, it's no doubt a disappointment. I think this is more disappointing than Quantum of Solace, as a matter of fact. However, there is more to look forward to, as Craig has one more film left to do in his contract, and the way Spectre left off, we have yet to see the last of Blofeld. And now let's prescribe some medicine for the Bond universe. My advice is to bring back Martin Campbell or hire Matthew Vaughn. Campbell gave us the best Bond film till now in Casino Royale and a top 5 James Bond film in GoldenEye. Matthew Vaughn, on the other hand, made one of the coolest self-aware spy films of all time in Kingsman: The Secret Service. And if you really want to test yourself, give it to Danny Boyle. Watch his work in Trance, and his works in particular. His kinetic energy and fast pace could be a welcome addition to Daniel Craig's ferocity. Craig has given us the best iteration of Bond, and as underwhelming as Spectre was, it still kind of trumps over most of the other Bond films. But it could have been so much more impactful if it didn't have the problems I had mentioned above. So hopefully MGM and Sony take my prescription and stick to it. As usual, people, thanks so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video, and remember to love yourselves. My name is Ramiz Khan, and I am the Movie Doctor. Sayonara.